Okay, we're going to be talking about two commands. So, two means that you're talking to somebody that you're familiar with. That could be your best friend or your little brother, or it could be your dog. And a command, obviously, is when you're telling somebody to do something. In Spanish, we call these mandatos or mandates or imperativos or imperatives. Command sounds like a really strong word, but it's not actually something that's bad. Like you're not actually commanding somebody to do your will. It just means you're telling somebody to do something. And in English, obviously, we do this a lot, and it's not rude. Like if you say, come here, or get me that spoon, or whatever. It's not necessarily rude, but it's a command because you're telling somebody to do something. For the two commands in the positive, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is go to the el, ella, usted of the verb in the regular present tense. So for juntar, the yo would be junto, the two would be juntas, the el, ella, usted would be junta. So just regular el, ella, usted. The only way you know it's a command is by using the context. Perder, yo pierdo, tu pierdas, or pierdes. El, ella, usted pierde. So that would be your command. Pierde. Lose whatever it is you want them to lose. Cumplir. Yo cumplo, tú cumples, él, ella, usted cumple. So remember that means to fulfill. So fulfill your duty, whatever it is that you're talking about. So it's just the regular él, ella, usted of the verb in the present tense. For the negative of the command, first of all, it has to start with no, because you're telling somebody not to do something. Then you take the verb, go to the yo, drop the o, and add the opposite ending. So juntar, the yo is going to be junto. We're going to drop the o, and we're going to add the opposite ending. The opposite ending for AR verbs are the e endings. So yo junto, drop the o, add the opposite ending, and we have to add an s because we're talking to two. So we have junto, drop the o, add the opposite ending, which is an e, and we have to add an s. So it's going to be no juntes. Don't collect or don't gather funds or whatever it is you're talking about. Okay, for perder, again, we have to start with no. The yo is pierdo. Drop the o, add the opposite ending. For er and ir verbs, the opposite ending is an a. So, pierdo, drop the o, add the opposite ending, which is an a and an s. So, no pierdas. Don't lose whatever it is I don't want you to lose. Cumplir, again, go to the yo. Cumplo, drop the o, add the opposite ending, which is an a, and we have to add an s. So no cumplas. Don't fulfill whatever it is that I want you to fulfill. Okay, pretty simple. We do have to remember some things about spell changing verbs. So for buscar, for example, remember in the positive it's just the el, ella, usted. Busca. For jugar, the el, ella, usted. Juega. Organizar. Organiza. Elegir, remember elegir is to choose. This is a stem changer, so the e changes to an I in the present tense. So elige. So busca, I'm telling you, look for it. Juega, play. Organiza, organize something. Elige, choose something. Now, if I want to go to the negative, remember they're all going to start with no. For buscar. So normally, remember, you go to the yo, drop the o, add the opposite ending. The opposite ending for AR verbs is an e. So this would be busces, but it's buscar, so we need to keep the k sound. This would be pronounced buses, so we do have to change to the QUE. No busques, don't look for. Jugar, so remember the yo is juego. Drop the o, add the opposite ending, which we would just add an es, but that would be juejes. So again, we have to keep the g sound. So just like in the preterite, car changes to QUE, gar changes to GUE. No juegues, don't play. Organiza, in the positive, in the negative, remember it's organizo. It is a cargarzar, so we do have to change the Z to a C, just like in the preterite. So car changes to QUE, change the gar to GUE, change the Z to CE. No organices, don't organize. And then elegir is kind of a new one, so the yo would be elijo. It has a J. And then remember the IR endings go to A. So no elijas, don't choose. Because if you said that, it would be eligas. So we can't do that. So G is going to change to J. No elijas. Okay. We do have some irregulars, of course, because this is Spanish. and there are always a ton of irregulars. Most of them are kind of easy to remember. They're just kind of the beginning of the verb. Most of these are irregular because they are the most commonly used commands, and so over time they've just gotten kind of shortened. So for tener, the positive command is going to be ten, venir, ven, poner, pon, salir, sal. Hacer is going to be as with a Z. Because if it was HAC, it'd be ac. So it's as. Decir is just totally regular D. Ser, say with an accent. And ver, ve. And of course, just like everything else, there is a song to remember these. So if you are familiar at all with Hava Nagila, which is a Jewish song, which goes Hava Nagila, Hava, something, something, something. Okay, so we're going to use that for our irregular positive commands. So if I'm telling somebody to do something, remember this means have, come, put, leave, do, say, be, and see. And it goes to Hava Nagila. So ten ven, ponsalas ten ven, ponsalas ten ven, ponsalas di se ve. Ten ven, ponsalas ten ven, ponsalas ten ven, ponsalas di se ve. And that's how we're going to remember the irregular positive commands. For negative commands, you're going to see in a second just exactly why these ones are negative. So the positive command, remember, is just the ea usted. So for dar, it's da, doy das da. For estar, it's esta, estoy, estás, esta, with an accent. Ir, we just did, and it's irregular, remember, it is ve. Saber is regular, just the ea usted, sabe. Ser is irregular, which we just did, and it's se with an accent. So those are the positive forms. In the negative, they're going to be kind of weird. And why? Obviously, how do you form the negative command? You have to go to the yo, drop the o, and add the opposite ending. Dar in the yo is doy, estar is estoy, ir is voy, saber is se, and ser is soy. So none of these actually end in an o in the regular present tense, so you can't drop the o and add the opposite ending. Therefore, it's just a totally different thing. So no des, no estés with an accent. This one is really weird. No vayas. Saber is also pretty weird. No sepas. And then ser, no seas. So a couple of these are predictable, like des, estés, and seas, because they're going to go to the opposite ending. Vayas and sepas are just completely irregular. You just have to memorize these. So again, you're going to have to memorize the irregular positive commands, and you're going to have to memorize these irregular negative commands. There's not really a good way to know. You just have to memorize it, but we can use the song at least with the positive commands. Otherwise, it's always going to be the el, ea, usted for the positive, and the go to the o, drop the o, add the opposite ending for the negative. Okay, so some basic commands that you would tell people to do. Take out the garbage. Remember, in Spanish, if you have an exclamation point at the end, you need to have the upside down exclamation point at the beginning. So take out the garbage. Take out is sacar. So it's a positive command. So it's going to be the el, ea, usted form of the verb, which is saca. I don't know why it keeps losing that. Saca, and then the garbage is la basura. Take out the garbage. Don't tell lies. So this is a negative command, which means it has to start with no. To tell is decir. Remember, to form the negative command, you're going to go to the yo, drop the o, add the opposite ending. For decir, the yo is digo. So we're going to drop the o, add the opposite ending. It's an IR verb, so the opposite ending is an a. And I have to add the s because it's a to command. So no digas, and then lies is mentiras. Don't tell lies. And then come here. Remember, to come is venir. It's a positive command, so I don't need no. The irregular positive command for venir is ven, and then here, aquí. Ven aquí. And that is the positive commands and the negative commands for 2.